20, and Max-Migold has been an excellent training for me. I went through this training and transitioning from an architect to a facility manager, and I totally enjoyed every bit of the training. It's so impactful. It went down to the list, to the bits of everything I need to know as a facility manager, and it has helped my career. Right now, I've gotten a job from NI facility that I'm currently managing as a facility manager, and I so enjoyed the training, the team. I got to know about Max-Migold in year 2020 when they put up some flyers on an e-flyer. I saw an e-flyer that talked about facility management training, and it's something I've always shown interest. I've been looking out for what I can do differently as an architect to build myself and add value to myself. Then I got to know about Max-Migold. I followed through, and I had a 2 days free training session with Max-Migold, and from there I got so much interest in building my career as a facility manager. And they have helped me. I've gone through the full training, and I'm a graduate of Max-Migold. I appreciate that, and they have been wonderful. They have added so much value to my career, and it has been an excellent walkthrough with Max-Migold. Thank you.
My name is Peter Lawa, a facility manager with Triumph Properties and Facility Management, a graduate of FMMC Batch 12, of which prior to that I was a graduate of Physics with Electronics. It's funny when you hear physics and facility management. That shows what facility management can do to you. Coming into this, when I took the course, the 3 months craft class, which was quite intense and very eye-opening. I came into the course with the intention of learning more, pending when I will be getting fully employed. Because prior to the program, I was still in the job market trying to get somewhere to work. So, fast forward to the class, I went through a lot, and this kind of broadened my perspective to the everyday activities and everyday objects I see around me. There are opportunities, there are all these things matter, right from the fabric of the material used in painting, decorating, even life of the dust on the table, cleaning.
Hello, my name is Amaka Anasi, and before the facility management diploma, mastercraft diploma, I was working in the Lagoon School as a facility manager. I heard about the diploma and I attended the free training first because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the diploma. So the free training convinced me that this was it. So I registered for the diploma. It has been worth my while, really. It's been very worth my while. So before the diploma, I had been working in facility management for about 5 years and generally groping in the dark, making mistakes, learning from costly mistakes. Now with diploma, my facility management strategy has changed. It's no longer firefighting, but even though that still happens occasionally because life happens. But now I know, okay, so I have different maintenance strategies for different assets I can put in place and reach the bins before faults happen, which is the best way of practicing facility management. Then also, I know that some of my colleagues, some of my classmates in diploma have gotten promotions or pay rises, and you want to have that too. And also, through the training, I've been exposed. In fact, I'm still being exposed. I contribute and I learn by being part of the alumni group. It's wonderful. There's a lot. I'm exposed to industry standards. You hear from other people who are wearing the same shoes as you're wearing. So you're not alone. It's big, that sense of community. And I want to thank Mr. Paul and the team of Max-Migold for the wonderful opportunity. And I encourage you to do the same to start the program.
My name is Adeniji Clements. I work with Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I joined the Mass-Migold in January 2022, and which is the diploma program. I enjoy the program, both the field, uh, practical. There is a practical we run at Ikoyi. Forgot the name of the address. The plumbing practical. It was awesome and very, and it helped me a lot to even to improve on at my own site. I started working in Ministry of Foreign Affairs since 2007, and from resident at Ikoyi to our training school at Alon Badagry from 2012, and from there, since then, I they tried to introduce Mass-Migold to me, in which my organization see that from there I can still gain more experience to improve my career. And since when I joined in the area of registrar, asset register, I improve on it. In the area of procurement, I make sure that all our uh, materials and everything is being kept safely. And in the area of maintaining the generator annually also, it helped me a lot. Both the cleaning of the environment, it was so awesome, and Mass-Migold we still continue to be great, and we enjoy Mr. Paul, Mr. Emmanuel. I can't remember all our resource people. We really enjoy them, and I pray that God Almighty will continue to help them, and will continue to promote the Mass-Migold. Thank you.
Mastercraft program started. I attended a training before, a free training before the Mastercraft program, and I told myself that it made a lot of sense to do the Mastercraft program. And just my first day at the class, I learned a lot. A lot. It was like I was able practicing facilities management all this while. I went home and I went home very fulfilled. And I told myself I have to be great starting this program. Before then, I didn't have I wasn't called for this interview, but like started dropping my CV in some comments. Then I got this interview, and when I got there, the way I related with people interviewing me, they really knew that I had serious idea of what facilities management is all about. And before now, trust me, if I did that interview before the class had started, I don't think I would have gotten the job. Because a lot of things that I had learned from this place, contract management, facilities management in total, what it's all about and what it entails, brought me out and made me stand out in the interview process. I was able to tell them much about contract management. I was able to tell them much about KPIs and how to supervise and all of that, how to manage a building and how to manage facilities in the building and what to look out for. And they were very, 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 very impressed with my section. I know I'm 100% sure it was due to the few lectures, because I've not even gone too far in Mastercraft program when I went for this interview. But the few things I've learned in the class got me all the ideas, and I was able to move forward and I was able to get the job.
I'm Matthew Ojonugwa Friday. Actually, I'm very grateful to be part of this trade training. I'm working with A7 Nigeria Limited as a maintenance and servicing engineer. Also, I'm a mechanical engineer by profession. I've been looking onto opportunity to build up a career in facility management. And thank God I came across the uh, Max-Migold online on WhatsApp, and I came to the opportunity, and I came for the training. Actually, the first time of being here, I'm pleased to report that the training was absolutely wonderful. I've learned something new, very new that I've not learned before. And Mr. Paul is a very wonderful lecturer and also a mentor to say, because what I have downloaded into for this training is what enough to be a mentor to align with. And I believe as time goes on, I promise to get close and learn more from him because I believe he has much to deliver. And also, I want to comment on his efforts so far to make sure the training was wonderful in terms of pre-launch and every other facilities and things which are made available for everybody.
My name is Ufote Okoyeno. I heard about Max-Migold from a friend. A friend referred me. And actually, I just concluded my MSc. I've not actually had another experience different from academics. But coming here today actually has opened my eyes to a lot of opportunities. It has actually made me believe there are lots of opportunities outside academics in terms of the management aspect, the HSE, and more of it. And for the speaker, it was very fantastic. It brought everybody wow, really made good points, and he changed the idea and thought into very effective. And referring people, I think he has actually brought out the positivity for you to want to tell people about what you have learned, which I believe you want to motivate people to come and do better.
My name is Anayo Victor Waboa. I work with Plus World Realtors. Max-Migold has done a great job at lecturing us on facility management training, fundamentals, and specific core competencies in facility management. I really love it because it helped me improve myself better. Despite what I've known, there are still new developments, still new process to the way you carry out facility management procedures in your workplace. I was opportune to ask a lot of questions and get a lot of answers to my questions and these questions and these answers will rather help me perform better at my work. Yes, Paul Erubami, I've known him for a while now, and he has been so good, he has been so nice. In fact, he called me up this morning, we talked about one or few things concerning facility management and my growth, and I really appreciate him for such an opportunity. Despite not paying any dime for this, yes, we received so much of value. We've been here since morning, and we are still receiving, and we don't want to go home. I think this training is profitable for everyone who is ready to grow a career in facility management. Thank you very much.
The very first day in class was, my God, wow, the knowledge, everything in the class was just I just joined them this December. I just made the head of facilities. Number one was that when I came, there wasn't system at all. Nothing like PPM. There always breakdown of service and all of that. So first thing I came, I took the stock. I do a PPM. I create an asset register. While I the system.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hajia Zainab Saleh, and I'm the Managing Director of Brains and Hammers Facility Management Limited and White Oak Management Services Limited. Both are facilities management companies. Not too long ago, I decided to enroll my staff in a masterclass program organized by Max-Migold Limited. For some of us that are not aware, Max-Migold Limited is a physical facilities management, training, inspection, technology, advisory firm. Now, I've known them for quite some time, and I chose, not too long ago, to put my staff through a training program under Max-Migold. And I can assure you that it was worth it. Why do I say that? What value has it brought to me? What value has it brought to my staff and to the organization generally? I can assure you there was a change. Why do I say that? Their mindset has begun to change. The way they look at attending to activities and tasks that have been given to them have changed. I even hear it in their conversations. And when you hear my staff discussing about tasks or projects that have been given to them to execute, you hear them saying, oh no, I remember in class they told me not to do this. Let's do it this way, and let's see how it's going to affect the work at the end of the day. The long and short of all what I'm trying to say to you is that if you have an opportunity to send your staff or yourself to Max-Migold, please do it, because it is worth it. And I can assure you that you will see positive changes in your staff, and it will eventually impact in your organization. Do go ahead, work with Max-Migold. You will definitely get what it is. Have a lovely day.
We have a lot of courses actually, but I have two that are more interesting to me, like procurement management and facility maintenance strategy. Procurement management, it exposes us to so many things about procurement. The difference between procurement and purchase. All that you need to do to abide by the ethics, procurement standard, everything that you need to succeed as an FM, in procurement. And at the same time, maintenance, facility strategic maintenance is one of the main things as an FM that really, puts you at that top, that will really make people appreciate and respect you. Because the essence of facility, maintenance strategy, the whole essence and objective is to save costs. Is to ensure that the operations of that organization keep running. That's the whole essence of facility operation maintenance. And in those, we have a lot of processes, the strategies to apply. Like for example, we have talked about the reactive slash run to fail maintenance plan. Talk about the preventive maintenance plan and the predictive maintenance plan. So as an FM, I think for it to be top notch, for it to be at the top of your peak, and to be respected in your discipline, you need to understand the three modules that I just mentioned earlier. The reactive, some of what's equivalent or whatever that you are allowed to be reactive, and the kind of preventive measure you deploy in the process and everything. So for me, it has been a resourceful and expository task. That's
Good day, everyone. My name is Aliba Subu, and facilities manager with and before now, I used to be facilities manager with my church university headquarters. I used to be facilities manager traditionally before I saw the need to upgrade myself to world-class facilities manager. Then I did my research and I got Max-Migold as a preferred trainer for that purpose, which I attended training for 9 months. The 9 months, 3 months was in class, and 6 months was to do our project. So I to business school, which I did my 6 months project there. I had a lot of experiences. I saw the value increase in me. So it saw me through to other places like real estate companies. And I worked there for a while before I came to Africa, which practically I felt it that my value increased because of the training experience. For everybody. training that has seen what as facility managers emerged because of its leadership and the quality of the training.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Anayo Owaboa Victor. I'm a facility manager in one of the oil and gas servicing firm in Lagos, Nigeria. I just want to tell you how my career has been ever enrolling in the FM Masterclass with Max-Migold. It's been awesome, one quantum leap to another. As in,
imagine this: a facility passes inspection 3 years in a row, the documentation papers complete, the fire extinguishers are mounted, maintenance reports are signed, staff believe everything is fine. Then one incident happens: a fire, an equipment failure, an injury, and suddenly the organization discovers something painful. They were never truly compliant. They only looked compliant. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rita Akpojaro. Can someone please confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Discussing something I believe
Yes, we
is
can
one
hear
of the
you from
most
here.
dangerous risks in facility management, compliance illusion. Because compliance is not what we think we are doing. It is what we can consistently prove that we are doing. Today's session is not just about regulations or audits. It's about helping us identify the invisible gaps many organizations don't realize exist until something goes wrong. So let me apologize that my camera is not working, and that's why I'm off the camera. Ella, if you are there, can you help with the slides? Okay. So like I said, today's session is not simply about regulations, policies, or passing inspections. It's about helping us recognize the hidden weaknesses many organizations overlook because operations appear normal on the surface. In many cases, facilities believe they are compliant because inspections were passed previously. Maybe documentation exists, operations are running, or there's no major incident that has occurred. But sometimes the real gaps only become visible after an audit, an accident, equipment failure, regulatory investigations, or operational disruptions that has taken place. So today we'll be examining those invisible risks and discussing how organizations can move from assumptions to true compliance assurance. By the end of this session, we will understand the difference between perceived compliance and actual compliance. We'll identify the blind spots that expose facilities to risk. We'll discuss the real cost of non-compliance, financially, operationally, and reputationally. And most importantly, we'll discuss how organizations can move from assumptions to assurance. So how many of us have ever heard this? We've always done it. Nothing has happened before. Have we heard that before? We've always done it this way and nothing has happened before. That statement alone has caused many organizations serious problems. Sorry, Ella, I can't see my slides. I don't know what's going on with my Zoom here, but I'm sure you are helping me roll the slides. Our discussion today will move in 6 stages. First, we will understand what the compliance illusion really means and why many organizations mistakenly believe they are compliant. Then we'll identify common gaps and blind spots that expose facilities to risk. We'll also discuss the legal, the financial, operational, and reputational consequences of non-compliance. From there, we'll look at how organizations can move from assumptions to real compliance assurance through audits, monitoring, and accountability. We'll discuss the role of leadership and culture in strengthening compliance performance. And finally, we'll look at how organizations can sustain compliance excellence through continuous improvement. So let's begin with the most important question. What does compliance actually mean? Slide 4, please. So compliance is not paperwork. As important as paperwork may be, compliance is operational reality. So many organizations reduce compliance to documentation, but compliance is not simply having policies. It is ensuring those policies are actually practiced and practiced consistently. So for example, a building may have fire extinguishers mounted everywhere, but the questions are they serviced? Are they accessible? Have staff been trained to use them? Is there an evacuation drill process? If the answer is no, then the facility may appear compliant, but is not truly compliant. Let's take generator as another example, because in Nigeria especially, generators are critical assets. Many facilities say maintenance is done regularly. But when you check, service logs are incomplete. Parts replacement history is missing. Fuel handling procedures are undocumented. That creates compliance risk. True compliance is proactive, not performative. So proactive compliance means you are anticipating risk before the incidents happen. You are preventing problems instead of reacting after failures. You are continuously monitoring your systems, and you are embedding compliance into your daily operations. So proactive compliance asks what could go wrong and how do we prevent it now? You as a facility manager is not waiting for an audit or emergency before you schedule a replacement or you update records. Performative compliance is different. Performative compliance focuses on appearances, ticking boxes, and looking compliant rather than actually being compliant. And it asks the questions, how do we avoid getting into trouble? Or how do we impress inspectors when they come in? So you just want to pass inspections. So performative compliance focuses on appearances, while proactive compliance focuses on reality. One will ask, how do we look compliant? While the other is asking, are we truly protected, accountable, and prepared? Slide 5, please. Now, why facilities think they are compliant? Most compliance failures do not happen because organizations intentionally break rules. They happen because people become comfortable. So for example, we passed the inspection test the last time. Okay, a facility passes an inspection once. Then we assume that the same process remains acceptable forever. But regulations evolve, assets age, operations change, risk increases. So sometimes when we look at our policies, maybe our compliance manual, they've been written for maybe 5 years, like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But now operations have doubled. Let's take the fire safety policy, for instance. Your fire safety policy has never been updated. Your facility still has old evacuation maps, outdated assembly points, and the procedures in your policy was designed for a building occupancy of probably 100 people. Even though the facility now accommodates 300 people, your operations have changed, but your policy didn't change. So a policy may exist on paper and still be operationally obsolete. Many facilities now are operating 2026 realities with 2018, 2015, 2013 policies. Let's take another policy, for example, because we have a lot of policies we work with. So for instance, contractor management policy. A facility will still allow contractors on site without updated induction training, without permit to work verification, without insurance documentation or safety orientation. You say it's because that's how we've always managed contractors. Contractors can become one of the biggest compliance gaps in a facility if policies remain outdated. One of the greatest compliance risks is assuming that because a policy exists, it is still effective. Policies must evolve with regulations, operations, technology, your occupancy, and emerging risks. Sometimes organizations confuse documentations with compliance, but a dusty policy sitting in a file cabinet does not protect people. A policy only becomes meaningful when it reflects current realities and drives current behaviors. One thing inspectors often discover in most of our organizations is that the work may actually have been done, but there is no evidence to prove it. So documentation gaps exist in our organization. And in compliance, if it cannot be verified, it is treated as if it never happened. Slide 6, please. So we're looking at documentation, record keeping, and audit failures. Documentation is the language of compliance. So records, when we have records, they create traceability. That is, you are able to track what was done, when it was done, who did it, how it was done, and whether issues were resolved properly. Records create a trail of evidence. Without records, activities become assumptions. Problems become difficult to investigate, and organizations lose visibility. Records allow organizations to connect actions, decisions, and outcomes. So for instance, an air conditioner suddenly breaks down during a board of directors meeting. The questions that would come will be, when was it serviced? Who serviced it? Was there any warning signs during the last inspection or servicing and stuff like that? If you do not have records, how do you convince anyone with your answers? Records, again, create accountability. People can be held responsible for assigned tasks and obligations. Documentation and your recording, they clarify who inspected the equipment, who approved it, who maintained it, who escalated, and then who failed to act. And without records, everyone denies responsibility when it comes to things like this. Blame becomes difficult to establish and problems repeat themselves. You hear excuses like, I thought it was done. The contractor was aware. I told someone to, and things like that. But proper records remove all of these ambiguity. Documentation transfers responsibility from verbal assumptions into verifiable accountability. And thirdly, records protect organizations legally. This is so important. In legal, regulatory, or insurance situations, evidence matters more than verbal explanations. Because you don't go to court and you go there to tell them, I did this did not do that. You need documents to back your statements. Even if the organization actually performed the work, if it cannot prove it, it may still be considered negligent. In compliance, documentation is often your first line of legal defense. Good documentation does three things. It tells us what happened, it tells us who was responsible, and it protects the organization when accountability is questioned. Documentation, not administrative stress, like so many of us see it. It is actually a protection system for your organization. Good operations without documentation still creates compliance exposure. Slide 7, please. We're looking at overlooked risks. Now let's discuss the risk organizations often underestimate. And this is so important. So let's take some practical examples. You have contractors without PPE. A contractor enters your facility without proper PPE, without permit to work approval or safety induction. If an accident occurs, the organization may still be held responsible because the contractor was operating under its supervision. So this is a risk to allow contractors come into your facility without PPE. Another practical example is expired permits. A facility may continue operating equipment or conducting activities with expired permits or certifications simply because renewals were overlooked. During inspections, this immediately becomes a compliance issue. You have your elevators, your certificate is expired, or any other facility, and your permits are expired, but you are still working, you overlook it, you don't renew your permits. It may become a compliance issue for your organization. Again, unsafe electrical modifications. This is something that happens so often all over the place. You know, sometimes temporary electrical adjustments are made to solve immediate operational problems. You have overloaded extensions, exposed wiring, or unauthorized connections. Those ones you bypass a lot of things and you just connect directly. Over time, these become major fire and safety risks. And these have caused some buildings to be burnt down completely because of these unsafe electrical modifications. These are risks that a lot of our organizations overlook. And then deferred maintenance. Most of the times, the reason is because budget hasn't been approved. You notice unusual sounds from a generator or HVAC system, but postpone repairs because the equipment is still running. Eventually, the asset fails unexpectedly, it just breaks, it just stops working. It disrupts operations. And there we have increased repair costs. What would have cost you 100,000 when you identified it? Because it was deferred, it now costs you 1 million because it has affected a number of other things in that equipment. These risks are dangerous because they become normalized. Everybody just feels, okay, they're not ready. Even if I go to tell them that this is wrong, they will say there's no budget for it. So let's keep it, let's leave it until when there is funds. So it becomes normalized. People see them daily and gradually stop recognizing them as compliance threats. Most compliance failures are not sudden surprises. They are unresolved warning signs that organizations became comfortable ignoring. Slide 8, please. Legal, financial, and operational consequences. Compliance failures are expensive. But the greatest cost is often the one organizations never planned for. Non-compliance is not just a compliance department issue. It affects the entire business. So fines, you have fines that may arise because of compliance issues. Organizations may face regulatory penalties when inspections reveal violations, such as expired certificates we talked about, unsafe conditions, or failure to meet statutory requirements. These fines can become significant, especially for repeated non-compliance. If employees, contractors, tenants, or visitors are injured in your facility because of proper compliance measures that were not followed, organizations may face claims, compensation costs, and reputational damage. So lawsuits may arise. Your facility could also be shut down. Serious compliance breaches can lead to temporary closure of facilities, suspension of operations, or enforcement actions by regulators until those issues are corrected. And you know what it would have done to your organization if that facility was shut down. You know how much you'll be losing per day because you were not compliant. We could also have equipment damage. Poor maintenance practices or ignored warning signs can result in major equipment failure, damaging critical assets and increasing replacement or repair costs. What about operational downtime? When compliance failures disrupt essential systems like power, HVAC, security, or water supply, normal business activities may stop. And this affects productivity, your service delivery, and revenue. Can you imagine when a customer, you have a deadline to meet with a customer, and then because of compliance failures, you are unable to meet that deadline. You lose revenue. It affects your revenue and your productivity. And then insurance implications. You know, insurance providers may reject your claims when you have accidents or incidents that require them to make payments to you. They may reject your claims or increase your premium for the next period. Or they may even question your liability if investigations show that the organization failed to maintain proper compliance and risk management practices. We have seen situations where facilities experience preventable electrical incidents and suddenly, just suddenly, operations stop for days. You will take it, okay, we will rectify this in few hours, but it now takes days. Your operations are stopped. The direct repair cost may be manageable, but what about the operational downtime, reputational damage that may have cost you, and stakeholder distrust that become far more expensive than just, complying from the start? These are issues that we should really look at in our organizations. Slide 9, please. So let's look at the reputation and the trust that non-compliance or these compliance issues we are talking about will cost the organization. So compliance is not only operational. It's not only operational, it is reputational. Compliance is not only about avoiding penalties like we have been talking about, it directly affects how people perceive and trust your organization. People trust organizations they believe are safe responsible, and accountable. So you have tenants in your facility. The tenants will feel more secure and satisfied when they believe a facility is properly maintained, the facility is safe and professionally managed. Repeated compliance issues can reduce the confidence of your tenants and increase complaints, or your tenant turnover. You find out that because the tenant has made payment for 1 year, immediately that 1 year runs out, it leaves. You get another tenant, you are still, you don't build the confidence of those tenants by being compliant. After another year, that tenant leaves as well. So you have tenants come and go, tenants come and go. And you know what that is? Another tenant is trying to come into your facility and knows this other tenant that leaves. He immediately tells them of how unsafe your facility is. And then the news keeps spreading and spreading, and you find out that your facility is left vacant for years because of non-compliance and because tenants do not have confidence in your facility. Investors too, you need to boost the confidence of your investors by being compliant, because investors are more likely to trust organizations that demonstrate strong governance, risk management, and operational control. Compliance failures can raise concerns about leadership effectiveness and business stability. You don't want that to happen to your facility. Then get your investors' confidence by being compliant. What about your clients? Those that do business with you, with your organization. Clients expect organizations to operate responsibly and professionally. Incidents, regulatory breaches, or operational failures can damage the credibility that you've built over the years, and it will affect your long-term business relationships. Employee morale as well. When your facility is unsafe, your employees, they feel unsafe. But when you are compliant, employees feel safer. They feel more valued and more confident because they are working in an environment that is compliant. Poor safety practices or unresolved risks can reduce morale of the employees. It can reduce their productivity, and it also reduces their trust in management. One compliance failure can damage years of brand credibility. People may never notice strong compliance daily, but they immediately notice when it fails. Next slide, please. Effective audits and assessments. So how do organizations move from assumption to assurance? How do we move? Audits are not just inspection exercises. We've said that before. They are management tools for risk prevention and operational improvement. So, proactive audits help organizations identify compliance gaps before regulators come in, before any incidents or failures expose them. Proactive audits. Instead of waiting for problems to occur, organizations intentionally look for weaknesses early. So for example, a routine audit may identify expired fire equipment or incomplete maintenance records before they become serious compliance violations. Preventive audits. Let's talk about preventive audit here. Effective audits will reduce the risk by detecting issues early enough for corrective actions to be taken. Preventive audits will help prevent accidents, operational disruptions, financial losses, and legal exposure. So an audit may reveal repeated electrical overloads or unsafe contractor practices before they result in equipment failure or workplace incidents. So we should have these audits done from time to time, proactive audits, preventive audits. And again, we should also understand that audits are strategic. The audits, they support better decision-making by giving leadership visibility into operational risks, compliance, performance, and areas requiring improvement or investment. So audit findings may help management prioritize their maintenance budgets to improve trainings where necessary, which will strengthen their policies or upgrade aging infrastructure. That's why your proactive audits and your preventive audits are very important. You are not going there to catch somebody, to find faults with what people are doing. They are strategic as well. So mature organizations do not see audits as punishments. They see audits as an early warning system. They see audits as an exercise to strengthen assurance, accountability, and operational resilience. An audit should not simply confirm compliance. It should reveal hidden risks before they become incidents. So let me ask us, when was the last time your organization reviewed its compliance systems beyond routine inspections? I don't expect us to answer that now, but write that down as a question you will ponder on, and you begin to take actions based on what we are learning today. Let's go on to the next slide, technology, KPIs, and monitoring. Compliance management today cannot rely only on manual systems, just paperwork. Technology now helps organizations become more accurate, responsive, and accountable. So let's dive into the technology just a little bit. We have digital records, and digital records make compliance documentation easier to store, easier to retrieve, to update, and to verify. Unlike paper-based systems, the digital records reduce the risk of missing files, incomplete records, or poor traceability. So instead of searching through physical files, you are asked to get something and you are going through the files paper by paper during an audit, organizations can quickly access maintenance logs, inspection reports, and compliance certificates electronically. That's what your digital records will do. It helps you to retrieve things easier, quickly access logs and inspection reports without having to go through the rigors of opening from one file to another, to another, and to another. What about the dashboards? Dashboards provide a real-time visual overview of compliance activities, risks, inspections, and outstanding issues. The dashboard will help management monitor performance more effectively because they are seeing everything real time. So a facility dashboard may show overdue maintenance tasks, pending corrective actions, or expiring certifications in one central view, centralized view. In one centralized view, you see everything that you want to see without having to call for various files or your paperwork. Another thing that technology does is automated alerts. So you have automated alerts that notify the teams before compliance deadlines or issues are missed. This helps organizations respond early instead of reacting after violations have occurred. Again, the system may automatically notify teams before permits, inspections, or fire equipment certifications expire. That's what the automated alerts will do for you, and that is technology. And then the KPI tracking, your key performance indicators, they help organizations measure compliance performance using data instead of assumptions. KPI will show trends, recurring issues, and areas that need improvement. So for example, your KPI may include like the percentage of completed inspections, maybe your PPM, audit findings that were resolved, response time to maintenance issues, or safety incident frequency, the frequency of your safety incidents. Technology will also bring us to visibility. It improves your visibility by allowing the leadership and facility teams to see compliance activities clearly across operations, assets, and locations. So for those that have different locations they operate in, your assets are all over the place, you have operations that cut across different sectors and activities like that, technology will improve your visibility, that you don't need to, go from one location to another before you know what is happening. You don't need to get to the facility or the assets before you know what is happening. You don't need to travel all over the place, go to Abuja, go to Port Harcourt, go to, Sokoto before you know what is happening. Technology will improve visibility. So instead of waiting for monthly reports, for instance, management can monitor compliance status in real time and then identify risks early before they escalate. So technology does not replace compliance responsibility, but it significantly improves not just efficiency, but visibility, consistency, and accountability. Next slide, please. We're looking now at leadership and employee engagement. Compliance culture starts from leadership. Compliance is not sustained by policies alone. It is sustained by leadership behavior and organizational culture. So you may have policies, and if the leadership does not go by those policies, they are not taking the forefront in those policies, then there is a problem. Employees take compliance seriously when leadership take compliance seriously. I want to take that one more time. Employees take compliance seriously when leadership takes compliance seriously. Leadership sets the tone for how compliance is perceived within an organization. When leaders prioritize accountability, safety, and standards consistently, employees are more likely to do the same. So you're an FM and you have a team you're working with. You have the technicians, the custodians, and every other person below you. And you are not taking any of these things serious. You are not in the forefront of the policies that you have so laid out to all of them. How do you expect them to be serious with it? Employees are more likely to do as you are doing, as the leader. Whatever you prioritize, that is exactly what they will do as well. So leadership behavior is what shapes the culture of any organization. The employees are observing the leadership behavior closely. You may not know that, but they are. If leaders consistently follow procedures, enforce standards, and support compliance initiatives, a stronger compliance culture develops across the organization. You can imagine the MD of your organization. He takes safety seriously. He attends compliance reviews. He participates in safety inspections, or he responds quickly to reported risks. Employees have no choice. They will follow suit because they understand that compliance is truly important to this organization. Meanwhile, inconsistency will weaken the compliance. When compliance rules are enforced sometimes, but ignored at other times, employees become confused about what standards actually matter. Over time, this weakens accountability. So if management overlooks expired permits, they skip inspections or unsafe shortcuts, all of those connections, illegal connections we do in the operations because operations are busy. Staff may begin to treat this compliance as optional rather than essential. They don't take it as essential anyway, it's optional. We can do it, we may not do it, because that's what they see you do as well. Employees, again, follow what leaders tolerate. In many organizations, employees eventually adjust their behavior to what leadership accepts, what leadership ignores, or what they permit. So tolerated non-compliance often becomes normalized. So if leaders repeatedly ignore contractors without PPE, for instance, or delayed maintenance issues, employees may assume those risks are acceptable operational practices. And that's what they end up doing. If leadership treats compliance as optional, employees will too. Employees may listen to what leaders say, but they usually follow what leaders consistently tolerate. So how will leadership build and sustain a compliance culture? Number one, training. Regular training helps employees understand compliance expectations, safety procedures, operational standards, and their individual responsibilities. Well-informed teams are more likely to identify risks and follow correct processes consistently. For example, routine safety and compliance training will help staff respond properly during emergencies, and it will reduce operational errors that are caused by lack of awareness. So it's very important that we train and keep training and training employees. Regular training is very important. Accountability is another thing that the leadership can build to sustain compliance culture. Accountability ensures that compliance responsibilities are clearly assigned, monitored, and enforced. Employees are more likely to take compliance seriously when expectations and consequences are clearly defined. So that if inspections are consistently assigned, but incomplete reports are ignored, there is no follow-up, accountability weakens and compliance standards gradually declines. Communication is another thing the leadership can do. Effective communication keeps employees informed about compliance updates, policy changes, risks, and operational expectations. Consistent communication strengthens awareness and alignment across your organization. So regularly communicate safety reminders, audit findings, or new compliance procedures, because it will help employees remain alert and engaged. Something else leadership can do is psychological safety. Psychological safety for reporting issues. Employees should feel safe reporting risks to leadership. They should feel safe even when there are mistakes made. that they can report to leadership, whether it is hazards or compliance concerns, without fear of intimidation by leadership, punishment, or blame from the leadership. Organizations identify problems earlier when people are comfortable speaking up. If staff notice unsafe practices or faulty equipment, but they fear that they will be ignored or they will be blamed for reporting them, risk may remain hidden until a serious incident occurs. And we don't want that. So leadership should ensure that employees are safe to report mistakes, hazards, and risk that they may identify in the organization. Next slide, please. Now, continuous improvement. True compliance is not a destination. It is a continuous discipline. Compliance is not something organizations achieve once and then they forget. It must continuously evolve. Strong compliance systems keep learning, adjusting, reviewing, and improving as operations and risk change. So we ought to be learning in our organizations. Organizations strengthen compliance when they learn from audits, from incidents, from near misses, from operational challenges and past mistakes that may have been made. Continuous learning helps the teams avoid repeating the same example. So for example, after a safety incident or failed inspection, organizations should identify lessons learned, not just who to punish. They should identify lessons learned and use them to improve procedures and staff awareness. Adaptation. Compliance systems must adapt to changing regulations. But looking at continuous improvement. So we must adapt to changing regulations, technologies, operational demands, and emerging risks. Processes that worked years ago may no longer be sufficient today. So facilities may need to update safety procedures, contractor controls, or maintenance practices as operations expand or regulatory expectations evolve. We should also review. Regular reviews help organizations evaluate whether policies, procedures, controls, and compliance systems are still effective and relevant. A facility may periodically review emergency response plans or your inspection schedules or maintenance programs, or ensure that they still reflect current operational realities. We should also be involved in continuous improvements, because this continuous improvement means organizations do not settle for minimum compliance. They consistently look for ways to strengthen safety, efficiency, accountability, and operational performance. So you may, as an organization, improve your reporting systems. When you look at it and it's not giving you the desired outcomes today, improve your reporting systems, strengthen your audit processes, provide additional training for the teams, or invest in better monitoring technology. This is the way we can be involved in continuous improvement. Compliance excellence is not achieved once. It is maintained through continuous improvement and constant vigilance. The most compliant organizations are not the ones with zero issues. They are the ones that identify and address issues early. And as we conclude, slide 14, please. As we conclude now, I just want to run through what we have looked at today. Today, we've discussed something many organizations rarely admit, that compliance can become an illusion. We can become comfortable with routines, comfortable with old processes, comfortable with assumptions. But compliance is not about comfort. It is about accountability. It's about evidence. It's about protecting people, operations, reputations, and business continuity. And perhaps the most important question every facility should ask is not, did we pass the last inspection? If an incident happened today, could we confidently prove we were truly compliant? Thank you. We come to the end of the lunch hour for today. It's very important that we understand these things, take it back to our organizations, and begin to implement them where necessary. Thank you so much for listening to today's lunch hour. I hand over back to Emanuela to conclude.
Thank you very much, Madam Rita. Thank you everyone for joining today's lunch hour. Please, if you have any question, you can ask the facilitator now. She's available to answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, my name is Sonny. I was actually referred. Somebody just sent me this seminar via my WhatsApp. I want to ask, do you guys get involved with certification that has to do with the facility manager progression in career? For example, IFMA certification and the likes.
Okay, thank you for that question. We currently are running the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma. It's a globally recognized certificate. The IFMA is different from the FMMC, but the FMMC is a good starting point for your facility management career, for upgrading in your facility management career, for starting off as a facility manager. It's a 3-month program. I'm sure Ella will run us through that program. It's a 3-month diploma program. It started, but they're still taking registrations. So probably if you join the WhatsApp group, the Telegram, I guess it's on the platform right now, how to join those links, you will get more information on how to be a part of that program. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. I will look out for the contact and do the needful.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. So, Mr. Adeyinka, your hand is up also. Do you have any question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Emanuela. Just more like a contribution anyway, contribution question. Yes, like the facilitator has already said, compliance is very key to facility. Like he said, that compliance is not just about paperwork, it is more of operational and reputational. For instance, in one of the facilities I'm to manage, I carry out a safety audit, and this facility is for high net worth individual, about 4-story buildings. In the course of my safety audit, I discovered that all the fire extinguisher has expired. Not in just last 1 year, 2 year, it's about 4 years. And this is a very sensitive facility, about 4-story building that accommodate the high net individual. Not only that, now you talk about the technology to track the compliance. I also discover in their maintenance record that they don't keep the records. What they do, the facility staff, they have a WhatsApp group, and for them to track precisely the generator, to keep the record in generator, maybe for the runtime, what they do, they use WhatsApp group. Anytime they take light, they will report in that WhatsApp group. And we are not talking about technology. My concern is that kind of reporting or recording, does it really in conformity with the technology we are talking about? They will just report on the WhatsApp that they take light. When they brought the light, they brought light. In the WhatsApp group for the facility staff. When I mean facility staff, we talk about security, the housekeepers, the technicians, the plumbers, the gardeners. I want to know, does it confirm what we are talking about? That is where my question comes in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. So now when we talk of technology, we're talking of a number of things. We're talking of using gadgets and automated alerts and all of that. But yes, the WhatsApp group is still a place to start from, depending on the how robust the finance of the organization is. Now, but when you are talking of reporting on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp platform, because we're talking about, we're dealing with cleaners, technicians. Some of these people don't even know how to operate these things. Yes, they're going to be taught about it. But when you report, ensure that, yes, everyone that is meant to know about this reporting are on that platform. And those that are meant to take the actions are there to take the actions. But like we said, when we are looking at compliance, we are not waiting for things to go wrong before we report them. And that is why the technology we're talking about is important. The alerts that we receive, the sensors that we put in our equipment, they are important. They give us the signal even before the failure occurs. So that is something else that your organization may want to look at, improving on their technology, not just WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a starting point, yes, but you need to go beyond that, because we're in the technology age and you can't rule that out of the management of your facilities. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Thank you. It's okay. Thank you. It's all done.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Adinka. So, does anyone have any other question?
Yes, sorry. I just, I told you I just joined this today. So I went to the Telegram page and I saw that a seminar was done on cleaning of the facility and the rest of it. Now, the facility I manage, I'm not just working in the company. I've been in the company for quite some time, but and I've moved around, but I was just put in charge of the facility proper, let me say, like some 8 months ago or so. Now, I want to ask if you guys, maybe we are still going to do this discussion after this, if you guys can recommend or get us a good facility cleaning company that they can be a third party to us. We have like a room of 73 offices and training classes like the likes. So that's what I want to know. If it's possible, we can have a discussion after this to pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sonny. Yes, just reach out to us and we'll have that discussion. Okay?
Okay, I'll do that.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. So you can reach out to the number that is on the chat, the Zoom chat, 080 220-201-224 for any other inquiries.
Okay, I'll
So
do that after this.
you can also join our WhatsApp group and our Telegram group.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Rita. Thank you everyone for participating in today's lunch hour section and for your active engagement throughout the training. So registration for the ongoing Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma training is still open. So we encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity to enhance your knowledge and professional growth in facility management. Also, be sure to follow us on all our social media channels to stay updated on upcoming trainings, insights, and future sections. Please note that our lunch hour section continues next week from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And we look forward to having you join us once again. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.